Tour, Carl Sobocinski testified before U.S. senators today about a proposal to increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour. 7 News reporter Ann Maxwell has more on his argument to lawmakers and what that raise would mean for workers in Greenville.
Sobocinski owns several popular Greenville restaurants like Sobeys and Nosedive. He says he doesn't think raising the federal minimum wage should be a one-size-fits-all approach.
Mr. Sobocinski, thanks so much for being with us.
Greenville's Table 301 restaurant group was on a national stage today at a Senate Budget Committee hearing. On the agenda, a proposed doubling of the minimum wage to $15 an hour over 5 years. Table 301 founder and president Carl Sobocinski says the increase would hurt small businesses like his.
$15 an hour in New York City, San Francisco, Washington, D.C. is not the same as $15 an hour in Greenville, South Carolina.
He says that kind of wage increase would make things worse for an already struggling restaurant industry.
The exact people you're trying to help will very likely either end up with diminished wages if we eliminate the tip credit, lose their jobs to technology, or lose jobs in general.
A server who works for a national restaurant chain in Greenville tells 7 News she worries about the same thing.
Losing hours, losing a job, even though 15 an hour does sound great, it would be harder to find a job possibly.
But of course the proposal would affect more than just restaurant workers. Jory Green makes $12.50 an hour in an upstate warehouse, but that's still not enough for her to find permanent housing in Greenville and support her family without government aid.
Well, EBT and family independence. Pretty much like child support. It's just a check the government gives to help with babies' everyday needs and stuff like that.
How much do you get from that?
Like $150 a month, yeah.
Senate Budget Committee Chairman Bernie Sanders argues the government shouldn't be subsidizing workers' wages when big businesses are making billions. Sobocinski and Senator Lindsey Graham, who invited him to testify, worry small businesses and their employees would be disproportionately hurt by raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour.
I am not opposing a minimum wage increase, but I'm looking for a common sense approach to this. This is not a one-size-fits-all solution.
President Biden has included a plan to increase the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour over 5 years as part of his COVID relief package. He says if the proposal doesn't make it into that bill, he will support it in other legislation. In Greenville, Ann Maxwell, 7 News.
The House Majority Leader says the House will bring that COVID relief bill to a vote tomorrow.